Welcome to tonight's episode of Ginger Bros Dent Show. We're your hosts, Brandon Schmitz and Andy Patrick. Tonight's episode will be different. We will get to know our guest a little bit better, but our main object is getting to know exactly what his company does for our industry. Our guest is none other than Noah Hebert with Denops. Me and Andy have both used Denops and thought it's time to bring Noah on so he can explain exactly what him and his team do and to answer some of your questions. So join us live right now and let's welcome Noah to the show. What is up, everyone?
What up, everybody?
Oh,
Brandon's stressed out right now. He's watching inning behind on his son's baseball team.
Yeah, and bottom of the seventh, the other team's up. We were winning 5-3. Bases were loaded, 2 outs, and they just tied it up. So I don't even know where we're at now. We could have lost it by now. Who knows?
Oh, dang.
But anyway, what's up, Tim?
What's up, Tim? What's up, Josh? Hey, if you can't have to watch later, but definitely listen to later because this will be a good one. This is going to be a different one, and we're trying to get some news out to the industry that we think is going to be super helpful in your services.
Yep, and it's already been helpful to me and Andy. But first off, we want to thank our sponsor this month is none other than the Reaper himself.
The Reaper, Purple Fiction.
Let me get his logo up here somewhere.
So
where's
cute.
it at?
You got it.
Is it up there?
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes. Mine's lagging.
It's right there.
Well, I know, but it's my internet. It's lagging.
Right.
Bad. So
no, still loving it. I ain't taking it out of my glue gun since I've gotten it. That's why we ain't done any more. I haven't done any more giveaways because I'm keeping the crap. I did give a stick to a body guy today. He bought a bunch of Kiko stuff, and I was like, "Dude, you're in the shop. This is perfect for it. Go ahead and try this out." So I think he'll be happy. He's like, "What do I for little ones?" I was like, "Nah, you can pull big shit with it too." He's like, "Let's go." I am not scared of that glue.
Yeah, it's perfect for your temperature up there.
Oh
too,
yeah,
because not right now. Like I'm. It's hot down here, hot and humid already. So anyway, yeah, let's dive straight into update. What is it? So we got 3 outs, so it's tied. So we're going to extra inning.
Oh damn!
Sorry guys. Hey, Andy's going to be running a lot of this show, and Noah's going to be talking like crazy. But I'm
pressure.
I'm going to be focused. I'm focused here, and I'm focused up there on my phone.
Noah's first podcast. We're like, hey, you can have at it. We'll see you later. We're just going to flick ourselves off. What's up, Bruce? What's up, my lovely wife, Amanda? We got James Bernard hacking stuff up.
Yes, sir. Hack Jack. I'm talking to him earlier.
I was, too.
Yeah,
I told him he needs to come up on a Saturday. Like, he's not getting a lot of time to train, so maybe one Saturday he can come up and we kind of at least focus just on that and give him a little more time training and stuff. Mr. Boyette, what's up, brother?
Boyette's on. What's up, brother?
I think you'll enjoy this episode. Brenda said Corey ain't here. What the crap? Oh, liar.
There he is.
You lie. Well, let's go ahead and get Noah on. I've been pronouncing his name wrong, too. I say Herbert. I did not read very well.
Hebert.
Yeah.
Anyway,
bad,
Noah Hebert with I'm guessing it's Hebert. I'm guessing we're pronouncing it right. Yeah.
He's shaking his head. Yeah, you're good.
Noah Hebert with Denops. And we'll let him explain what it is. We found out about it at MT from Paul Corden. He was really pushing it, and they've been pushing it, him and Tim, for several months now.
And Paul makes nothing off of this. This is just something he firmly believes in. And when Paul Corden's believing in something, you probably want to hop on board with it. So we both have, and I'm glad.
Yeah, Paul's been making our industry more money, and this is another avenue of that. So Noah's got it going on. So let's bring him on. What's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, wonderful. Act like we ain't just been talking for 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, chat.
Hey, how you been today?
How's everybody else? Yeah.
So no, we'll get into Denops, and we'll start with how'd you get into the Pdr industry? I know you said you got a Pdr family, so if you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah, so I grew up in the industry, and my dad Keith Hebert, which he's been around in the industry for a while. He brought me and kind of the rest of my family into it. So I've got my dad, my grandfather's a tech, my uncle's a tech. I have my brother's in the industry. He's done more stuff on the marketing side. I think my sister's getting plugged in on some more administrative stuff. My brother-in-law is being trained right now, and so working on some stuff. And I think I have like 4 fake uncles in the industry that are PDR techs that, you know, just grow up around it.
Yeah.
And my 2 best friends too are in the industry too. So I just grew up around it. It feels like home, and, you know, everybody's kind of family. You meet so many cool people traveling,
sure.
a lot of really cool techs, and go to a lot of cool places. So it's yeah, that's kind of how I got into it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I always say this industry, it's tight knit a lot more than other industries. Like, you won't see plumbers sharing podcasts that I know of about you know, plumbing and stuff. So
Yeah.
I do love our industry and how tight knit we are and trying to help each other out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got some love going out to your dad. Matt says your dad Keith is the baddest tech on the planet in his opinion, and that's big words coming from Matt Boyette. So
hey, thanks,
awesome.
Matt. Matt's used our service before too.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, he has, and he's in another little text group that I'm in with him, and yeah, right after MTE, he was pushing it, and I'm like, yeah, you know, it was even before I even, you know, talked to you, and
that's my grandma.
Perfect. Hey, Grandma.
Yes.
We got our first grandma one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
It's a milestone.
Well, technically, my mom's a grandma, just not my grandma.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, but if my grandma start watching,
that's my brother-in-law that I was talking
nice.
about.
I love it. I love it. It's like the Jaeger episode all over again. It's great. We love seeing family come on and comment,
represent.
and, you know, interact and stuff. That's awesome. I love it.
Heck yeah. So
they all obviously help raise a nice young man. And, you know, how old are you, Noah?
25.
Okay.
What?
Wow.
Oh man, I feel old now.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I was in high school when you were born.
Yeah. Well, I started in the industry when I was in high school learning R&I. So I never learned to push dents. I only did R&I, and then fresh out of high school, I started traveling, jumped on the hail trail, and started learning learning hail stuff. And so that's kind of the environment that I picked up on everything. Ended up working in a lot of dealerships and body shops and PDR shops, and I got to see everything from like every angle. Yeah. And it was definitely really, really cool and super influential, because when your work is dependent on that volume, you start to see all the problems that are coming up that make it so you can't, you know, do the work, or so you can't make your income and everything. And so that's where a lot of ideas from DentOps, including this one, like what we're actually doing right now with the CCC estimates, that's where that came up. Is that same awesome. Just learning and figuring out what are the problems that need being solved. So yeah.
Well, it's like anybody who's worked for a long period of time in whatever industry, or if you've gone from one to another, you know, you finding right now this little niche is like it's a really, really good thing, especially you at a young age like that. This is something that is going to, I have a feeling, going to explode and turn into a very, very good business for you.
I appreciate it.
I like that you're getting ahead of the game, you know, getting some more people aboard and stuff. Like, that's smart, instead of just waiting for it to come all at once and then be like, uh-oh, I need some help.
Yeah, well, sometimes it feels like it's coming all at once anyway. So,
well, once people start using it, they're like, oh, we're sending everything to you.
Yeah,
well, it's a no-brainer. I mean, you get, it's basically $140 for scrub, and then you're finding extra money and stuff. We'll get all into that, but I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. As soon as Paul explained it to me, I was like, why haven't we been doing this forever? He's like, it just started. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So let's start this out and rewind. So this is Noah Hebert with Denops. Okay, for everybody that's watching, everybody that comes back to watch. So let's go ahead and start. You can explain exactly what Denops is, and we already kind of know how you came about doing it, but go ahead and explain exactly what it is. And we'll just let you have the floor right now.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So DentOps is the easiest way to say it is we are an estimate translation service. We call it translations. Some people call it scrubbing. You know, some people, I don't know, other things that people call it. But basically what we do is the Pdr industry uses Mobile Tech RX. That's like the main thing that the Pdr industry uses to estimate, which is fantastic. It's super easy to use, easy to make kind of quick estimates and to justify having your prices on estimates. But the problem is most of the collision world and most of the insurance world uses CCC1. Some of the other estimating softwares too, but it's 19 out of the top 20 insurance companies use CCC1. And I think over 300 other US insurers use CCC. So what you have here is you have this kind of a knowledge gap, and you need your Mobile Tech RX estimates to bridge that gap somehow for insurance claims, is mostly with insurance claims. So what we do with DentOps is we take Mobile Tech RX estimates, we kind of use them like scope sheets, and we're able to translate that into CCC1, into the kind of collision and insurance companies language, which is why we call it translations, is because we're kind of changing the language, putting it in the insurance company's language. In the process, because of my background and doing a lot of R&I, working in all kinds of different shops and everything like that, I learned how to estimate in a body shop that was doing both paintless dent repair and collision stuff. And so just with my background and having tore apart cars and everything, it's helped me to develop a program for DentOps where we're able to find as much stuff as we can that might be missing from the original MTRX estimate, either because people just don't know what stuff that they can add, or they don't know how to add it, or because it's just not even there in Mobile Tech RX, which is MTRX is a fantastic software for what it's built for. But like one thing that people notice right off the bat is like labor rates don't really match up. It's missing a ton of operations, just all kinds of stuff like that. So there are things that literally the PDR industry at large right now doesn't even have access to, these procedures and just opportunities that they could be asking for on their estimates. So they're just totally missing out. And so what we did was we created this solution where we're, like I said, we take your MTRX estimates, translate it into CCC1. And at the end of the day, what you have is a CCC estimate that's totally branded to your company. It's got your labor rates and your tax rates, everything. We make sure to get everything right, that you're able to turn around and literally just hand to the insurance company. And they love it. Like, insurance companies love it. I don't think you guys have quite got your results yet, but
that's no fault of yours. That's fault of an adjuster that don't know what they're doing. So
yeah, which is common. Unfortunately, we can't fix that problem. But right. what we found is in negotiation with insurance it's just much easier to negotiate with insurance. Like, a lot of times they just take the estimates, they just accept them for as they are. We've had situations with some of them. I've called them customers, but I think I want to call everybody partners now, because that's why I feel it's more like a partnership.
I like that.
Where we have estimates where somebody might have written, I think their shop, they might have written like a $1,500 estimate. The insurance company came back with a few $100s or something ridiculous, like the insurance company does, and they kept submitting it. They submitted it like 2 or 3 times. The insurance company came up a couple $100s each time. And then they sent it to us to translate, and we got them an estimate, and it was approved for like $1,900. It got approved for like $200 more than their original estimate was, which is just crazy. It's mind-boggling to me still that it happens, but that's we hear that kind of thing all the time from our partners. So it's pretty cool. It's very, very encouraging, and it's just helped me to know that we're on the right track, and it's helped me to have confidence as we've been growing. So we've been growing pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
right.
I think one of the best things, I know, like I just submitted the big one that I just got y'all to do yesterday afternoon. So I don't anticipate hearing anything for at least 48 hours anyway. But to me, one of the main goals of it on the negotiating part, instead of us turning in the Mobile Tech RX and then them lowballing that, and then we're having to fight again, and then they come back and lowball, and then we're having to keep going back and forth, at least having it written in their language with the CCC, even if we went back and forth 3 times before and it cut it down to 2 times, that's much faster. And then every time you keep doing that, it's just going to get faster and faster every time you start submitting that stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a huge benefit. I totally agree. And kind of the way that I've visualized it, as we've been trying to create the solution, and like, okay, how do we share why this is valuable for people, so that they at least try us out, is like, take a hailstorm for just as an example. When you got a hailstorm that rolls through an area, because we do a lot of hail estimates. When you have a hailstorm that rolls through an area, you usually, unless a CAT team shows up in order to do these estimates, the PDR shops might get overwhelmed, the body shops might get overwhelmed, but the local insurance adjusters are also super overwhelmed. So when they have the choice of either accepting a CCC estimate from a body shop down the road or your Mobile Tech RX estimate, which one of those two estimates is going to be more work for them? The Mobile Tech RX estimate's always going to be more work because they are required by the companies they work for in order to themselves translate it into the software. And at the same time, while they're translating your Mobile Tech RX into the software, do you think that they're going to be looking for all of the things that they might need to include in that estimate? Definitely not.
No,
so it's like the kind of the age-old question is like, do you let the person who owes you money determine how much money they owe you? Like, probably not, because they're going to shortchange you, every day. So that's one of our teammates right there, Neil.
Oh, nice. What's up, Neil?
Yeah, it's one of our specialists, one of our estimators.
Nice.
Awesome.
I told you we'd have some. We got Jaegers popping in every once in a while. So.
Yeah, there they are.
And then Brendan likes my truck. He's the one that got it lowered for me. So yeah, you're right, Brendan. That's why it's in the background like that. I love it.
Here, we'll cut that out.
You asshole.
I'm just kidding.
And so Noah, how much is a subscription to CCC? Like, because I've heard technicians say that they're going to get CCC and start trying to learn how to use it. So we'll start with how much is the subscription to a CCC program?
Here, hold on 1 second. My headphones are getting all garbly.
Uh-oh.
See if you can fix this.
Okay.
You just let us know when you can hear us.
Brandon, how's the baseball game going?
Oh my God! It's chaos there. So a kid hit a home run, and our runner from first going to second, the field umpire there called. One of them said it wasn't a home run. One said it was an out or something like that, and they got confused. So the one who hit the ball past the other runner, if you do that, you're automatically out.
Right.
Well, then they called it a home run. So then that was 2 runs, but then they called the other guy out. So then it's been chaos, and finally they're switching pitchers. But they did give us both runs, so it was 7-5, top of the 8th, 1 out, and the other team has finally pulled a new pitcher in. So
Noah, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right.
So do you know who Robin is?
Yeah, Robin's another team member.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. They're all turning in. So
Yeah,
I was asking for CCC subscription. How much does that usually run? Because I've heard technicians saying they're going to, just get CCC and try to learn it and all this. So we'll start with that and go.
Honestly, I would highly encourage pretty much anybody to get CCC. Which is kind of funny because I'm like, yeah, send your estimates to DentOps,
Right.
But the truth is we're looking for the volume. So I'd rather help you guys when you get overwhelmed than to just necessarily have you be like, okay, the onesies twosies, which we love the onesies twosies. But my goal ultimately with DentOps is to help PDR companies as much as possible. It's not just to try to make as much money off of PDR guys as possible. So just a side note there. But CCC subscription, I think they start around maybe $400 a month. I think there's like a very low tier subscription that's like $250. But I think to really get one that's going to have the stuff that you need from it is like $450 a month or something. But I would our subscription, that's per license. So like if you're working on a PC, if you have 3 people who are working in CCC at the same time, you have to have 3 licenses. So it adds up pretty quickly there.
Yeah.
Our subscription is $950 per month per license. And that's because we have like access to all of our P pages and just a lot of extra stuff that helps us to write as best of estimates as possible. But we also have what's called, I think it's called like the open shop agreement or something like that, which this is why I would highly recommend even PDR companies to get CCC1, because if you have that subscription with CCC, you're basically open to all of the insurance companies. They can see your shop and they can literally send you assignments directly to your account. So and it's funny because like me with DentOps, we are strictly a B2B company. We don't fix cars. I've gotten like 3 or 4 insurance assignments since starting our CCC account. And I'll have customers that will call me too. And they're like, hey, whatever, Esurance told me, to bring my car over to your shop and everything. Like, where's it located? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. They're like, how did you hear about us? And they're like, our insurance company told us to bring it. And so I can't help you. I can't help you. But it's been super interesting to me. And that's why I've told a lot of shops, I'm like, listen, guys, like, you wanted the ability for insurance companies to literally send you assignments without you being a DRP. This is kind of how you do it. So it's
that's kind of a damn curveball for where I was going, because I was going to talk about the subscription, how hard it is to learn, and just use Denops. But you're like, no, go ahead.
This is what I'll say. Getting a subscription is easy, and I think cost-wise, it's totally justifiable for PDR companies. Like, it makes perfect sense. But learning how to write in it is extremely difficult. It really, really is. And so it's super funny and ironic, actually, because this kind of goes back to how we started doing this with DentOps, because I was in an operation and I was like, okay, I was not in an operation. I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do with DentOps? I was pursuing more of management and admin systems, because that's more of my background in development and technology and stuff. And I was like, man, I think CCC1 is a really, really, really important thing. I had been seeing a few shops had started to use it, a few operations had started to use it. I was like, man, I think that this is really important. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to look into it. I'm gonna try to figure out how to learn how to use CCC1, write estimates and everything. And then what happened is literally 2 days after that, I got a call from actually Paul and Paul wasn't there, but Tim Corden and Todd Zimmerman and my dad, and they were at a shop somewhere, and that shop was just totally overwhelmed by their admin and their estimates. They could not keep up with it, and they were like, we need some help here. And I'm a techie guy. I'm very computer savvy and everything. So they're like, okay, Noah, we know you're not doing R&I right now. We need you to come and help us with admin. So I went over there, and literally that's all I did for like a month straight, is just estimates. And I got to learn. It was a phenomenal learning opportunity. And I got to learn how to write estimates in that environment. But aside from that, I couldn't find any good resources like online or like courses that you could even buy or anything to learn how to do it. CCC's education resources are just complete garbage on their own. Like they basically tell you how to log in and do like a couple of like set up your profile a little bit, but they don't actually teach you how to estimate is the problem. So,
I think that's the issue with a lot of body shops too.
It is. You would
Billy
think
Bob, show me how to use this. Here we go.
Nobody knows how to do it. You really have to have, most of the time, it's either like a small body shop that just happened to get a good estimator in there, or a guy who was really interested and was like, I'm going to maximize how much I can get on these cars. And they like really dug into it and kind of self-taught. Or you have some higher production body shops that like that's what they do. They hire estimators who they'll pay $100,000 a year, $120,000 a year in order to literally just write good estimates, and they don't even necessarily fix cars. They just write estimates because it makes the shop so much more money. So that's how I learned how to do it. Going back to everything, so getting CCC is fairly easy. I mean, it's actually a little hard to get CCC. They don't make it easy. But writing estimates in CCC, that's what's difficult. I'm really hoping at some point we have a phenomenal training program, I think, that is specifically geared towards teaching people how to write estimates for paintless dent repair and hail damage repair, because everything else out there is like collision. At some point, I would really love to kind of open that up and let people get that education and like go through it as a course. It'd be massive, I think. So imagine you have it would. Yeah, it'd be cool. And because like I said, our goal is to handle the volume. So what I would much rather do is you got your guys' shops. I would much rather you guys know how we write our estimates, so that when it hails in your location, you're like, gosh, I could be writing all these estimates, but I don't have the time for it. I need to be pushing dents and doing all the other stuff that a business owner should be doing. That's when we're able to seamlessly plug in and be like, okay, that's cool. We can handle it. We're going to do it the exact same way that you do because we taught you how to do it. That's kind of the more of a 1,000-foot view of what we're trying to do. The reality is, like we've talked about, the demand is
is already spiking for our services, and we can only grow so fast. And so like, how do we help as many people as possible, and keep up with that at the same time is pretty important. But yeah, highly recommend anybody to look into CCC. And its cost of the subscription is, if you get more than a few hail claims per month, I would think, not hail, more than a few insurance claims per month, you can probably justify the cost of the subscription. It's like any tool, any good tool is going to pay for itself. That's the same thing with CCC, I think.
So I need to get my insurance claims up before I would consider it. So I'll just keep using you.
That's fine.
That, and I'll wait for your training to come out, because I don't want to be sitting there like,
Well, you know, and I think it's like anything. You're going to have, just say in our industry, you've got your technicians who can do MTRX flawlessly, you know, as long as the program's running right. Okay. And then there's some that have always and still will have trouble trying to figure all that stuff out.
Yeah.
With the CCC, even if they pay for that, those same ones are going to have a lot of trouble in spending that money. And I think those really ought to continue sending everything your way. Definitely. And then those who can, you know, learn it pretty good, pretty quick, still have y'all as that overflow
as the fallback.
Right. But the training courses and that, if that comes along, that's going to be tremendous, because I would love to learn it. I would love to have it. It's just making sure that like CCC can keep up with like clients and all that kind of stuff, you know, because I do everything through Mobile Tech. And so I have, sorry, I'm watching.
That's okay.
I got
we won. All right. Woo, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Woo, one down.
I
got about 30 minutes of focus right here. So no, but I think this is really how I see this. This is really going to take off in our industry, because it's just from me doing that one, letting you do that one estimate. You were finding stuff and you were telling me like, look, this part right here, just to blend into the tailgate on this Platinum F250, you have to take this whole piece off. It's a one-time piece. It's $1,200 something for this piece.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that's money that, you know, even if we tried to write it up ourselves and we didn't know all of that, we're losing out on that. And and you're right. The insurance company isn't going to say, hey, well, you're missing this. Here's an extra $1,200 we're going to write up on this.
Not at all.
So it's I'm like Andy. My insurance work, it is starting to get. I'm doing a lot more of that on the regular dents and stuff, because of Paul Corden, because of him kind of, you know, really pushing that. Because I'm tired of techs, you know, in my area saying, "Oh, it's 90% cheaper than body shop," and really putting body shops down and stuff. And I'm like, no, it's not. We should not.
Same
and I
price
tell
or more, you know,
I tell customers all the time. I'm like, why? Because we'll get to talking even before or after a repair, and I'm like, look, why? Explain to me why I should be cheaper than what a body shop is. Yeah.
I love it. 5 minute. My 5 minute mobile. I'll do this for the podcast. 5 minute mobile take RX estimate and send a Denops. Literally get us thousands per car right now. Faster turnaround from insurance company. I absolutely agree.
Yes.
And that's what I wanted to touch on with the hail. Explain how easy it is if somebody's got a hailstorm to use your services, as far as we don't have to like nitpick every single R&I, because you're going to find that for us ultimately. So that saves time. You got your quick estimate. So talk about some of your, you know, the perks of doing it through a hailstorm.
Yeah, for sure. So with a hailstorm, we only need a few pieces of information for us to do our translations. We, nice, that's Matt too. We need your dent counts and your sizes, and we need your replacement parts. That's pretty much it. And then like any other miscellaneous stuff that you guys want to add on to it. And then we need a decent view of outside of the car. So what we say is like the four corners of the vehicle, maybe a picture of the VIN plate. So we got the manufacturing date, the odometer, and the license plate. And literally those last few pieces of information I'd say are kind of optional, but they help us to create a better file at the end of the day, which ultimately typically translates to a better, more likely that the insurance company will approve it, or they just like the file better. So that's all we need: dent counts and sizes and replacement parts. And after that, we're able to determine all the R&I. That's where my background really comes into play, because I'm like, listen, I know these dent guys. I know what things they're going to want off of these cars.
Oh yeah,
this thing's got all these dents. They want this door gutted. That's how it's going to go. So yeah, very, very easy. And literally that saves so much time, because you can imagine, for all the storms that I've been on, one of the biggest bottlenecks is just estimates. It's so annoying, and personally, I hate it. The irony is, I hate estimates. I have an estimating company,
God,
but
I'd rather
staring at
bang
the
my head on the wall.
panels, yeah, and after you get everything circled up and you got all your dent counts and sizes, then you got to go back and you're like, okay, what R&I do I need to add into here? Okay, and then you miss them, or you put it on the wrong door. It's like, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Literally, you're able to shave off, I estimate, probably between 15 and 25, maybe 30 minutes if it's a really heavy estimate, off of
That's
like
huge.
the time that it would normally take. Yo, it's massive for a hail operation. How many more estimates can you do in a day? How many more customers can you handle, or like not have to be estimating, and you can actually be pushing on dents? Because 9 times out of 10, it's a PDR technician who's the one who's estimating, which is like, that's a whole nother thing in my opinion. I think me and Paul are going to try to make a mini course on how to estimate, because it's not that hard to see dents. Like, the reality of it is, it's not that hard to see dents. When you're fixing them, it's way more important. But there's no reason that PDR technicians, in my opinion, should be the ones who are writing estimates all day long, when you could hire somebody for much, much cheaper to be doing really good estimates, especially if you're sending them to DentOps afterwards. And the technicians can just be working all day long.
That's an amazing
the primary
thought.
moneymaker. But it's the problem is like everything. There's a lot of problems, I think, that could be solved. There are a lot of really good opportunities. So
I'm glad we got people like you and Paul trying to solve these problems. That's huge for our industry. So I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you got and we'll talk about the quick estimate too. So everybody knows you get a hailstorm, people's wanting to cash out. So Noah has this wonderful program that's going to take 5 minutes to do a rough estimate.
Yeah. So the quick estimate, which is a free tool that anybody can use, you don't even have to sign up for it. It's at dentops.com and under free tools at the top. And the quick estimate is literally exactly how it sounds like. It's a quick estimate. And so instead of you doing like checking out every panel, counting all the dents and everything, waiting for MTRX or some other estimating software to kick out a number, most of you guys are professionals that have been doing this for a while. Like, when a car comes in, you're like, well, shoot, there's a $6,000 car right there. Like, you guys know. So what we created is this thing called the quick estimate that we've used in multiple shops. It works great. And you just plug in the customer's information, because most of the time these customers are just looking for an estimate. Their insurance company probably told them, you need to go get estimates from shops. You might never see that person again. So why would you waste 30 minutes or an hour estimating a car if you're never going to see them again? So you plug in the customer's information, you plug in the vehicle information, you plug in the insurance information, and you give a range that might be like $5,000 to $6,000. It could be like $5,000 to $9,000. It really doesn't matter. What you're doing is you're helping the customer to frame that estimate to say, okay, this is how much it's going to be. They definitely don't want to come out of pocket. So you're helping them to come to a decision sooner rather than later that this should be an insurance claim, if that's even a question to begin with. And then it's got, at the very bottom of it, it has a spot for you to ask them for a date and time to drop the vehicle off for repair. Because too many times people do estimates and they never actually ask the customer to drop the car off, or they never ask it happens too much. You get busy doing everything else. So it's this really easy thing that you just plug in this information, you click the button, it sends it off to our DentOps servers, and then it will email you a copy of that PDF. It looks really nice. It's got your company's information at the top and everything, with a little range that you've got for the customer. You print it off, get them, you ask them, prompts you to ask them, when do you want to drop the vehicle off for repair? You can actually try to get them on the schedule and to commit, because you want them to commit to you before you commit to them, and do a full and final estimate. And there's some information on there that's like, this is a preliminary estimate. We'll do a full and final estimate when the customer actually drops the vehicle off for repair. And one of the cool things that we've seen happen a lot of times with those estimates is the customer will take it, they'll give it to their insurance company. The insurance company will call your shop and say, hey, we're looking for your estimate, whether they're looking for your MTRX estimate or your CCC estimate. They say, hey, we need your estimate. We got this preliminary estimate thing from the customer. And what we've done is kind of cool. What we've done is we've told the insurance company, oh, hey, yeah, we told them that we'd do a full estimate when they drop the vehicle off at our shop. If you can get the customer to drop the car off from the shop, we can get you that estimate sooner. So we've actually had the insurance company call customers at that point and say, hey, we need you to bring the car back over to the shop and drop it off there so that they can do the estimate, and basically tell the customer, hey, commit to the shop so we can move along with the process, which is just as crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
that is awesome.
Well, I may be using that in the morning because I've got a lady coming that she bought the car with hail damage.
Yeah. She's not going to fix it.
Well, she's like, oh, I bought it like this and I don't want my insurance to go up. I was an insurance agent and I'm like, I don't think, well, it's not going to. Anyway, I said, well, just bring it by here. Let me glance at it, look at it. So, because I can already told her, I said, this is not a cheap job by any means. So, but she may have got a great deal on it and may want to pay out of pocket. So,
maybe
that's the hardest sell on customers is getting them to commit to insurance because my premium's going to go up this and that. So that's been a hard battle for me personally. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I need to talk to Paul more about that. Like, how do you lock them in and make them feel comfortable about using the insurance? I mean, that's what you got it for, but you can't just you pay for this crap. Use it.
Most people use insurance like a badge. Like, oh, I haven't filed a claim in 7 years. I'm like, why are you paying for it?
You gave them all that money.
Yeah, you gave them all that money, and now you're afraid to use it.
Yeah, that's what I tell them. I'm like, well, when's the last time you had a claim? Well, I ain't ever. I was like, why not use it? A lot of with this, unless it's something that you created an accident, like an actual wreck or something like that, and it's comprehensive, to me, it's not going to go up. And I've heard even if it does, it's spread out so much over so many years, that it's just a couple of dollars, pretty much. I want to give some.
She had to go find some service to see.
Yeah. But it's so I'll tell them, like, you have insurance for this reason. Why not use it? Okay, this job right here is going to be, just say, $1,500. What's your deductible? $250, $500, whatever it is. Then why not pay $500 and get it fixed?
Yeah.
If it's if it's something outrageous, kind of like the one I just got you to write.
Yeah.
For me, because I know it's repairable, but I've got to write it up as replacement. I do have enough in there to cover their $250 deductible, and I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
that customer's like, yeah, if you can do that, I don't have to come out of pocket. You got this job. Now that's a different story if it's something big and like
$2,000 deductible.
Yeah,
like, why do you have $2,000 deductible? What's going to happen? Yeah, basically, it's like, why did you do that?
Yeah,
saving money. Not that much, I promise you.
Yeah.
I'm like you, Andy. I'd like to be able to talk with Paul or somebody that really knows their lingo and able to talk to customers about.
Paul's the guy to talk to. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but he does phone consultations. And for anybody else who's out there, he does them. And I mean, people have been getting phenomenal results. I was just talking to him about this, last week. It's been killer, especially as more and more, like you guys were saying, you're starting to get more and more claims through your PDR. This is so funny because I've been so far in the PDR and the hail side of things. Yeah. Paul was like, you know that most shops don't actually do many insurance claims. I was like, what? Are you serious? Yeah. Like I didn't realize that until literally last week. And I just assumed that everybody did it, but like, no, seriously, everybody needs to try to be getting them as much as possible. And to get the customers to commit like that, shoot, I don't know anybody better than Paul to talk to about it. So definitely.
You're right.
I'm trying to look back through my messages because I reached out to him. It's coaching sessions, and I believe it's $300 an hour, which for an hour of Paul's time is totally worth $300.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And I told him once I get.
You think maybe we could just get him on the show here for an hour?
Let's do that.
You should. Have you guys had him on the show?
No, we haven't.
No, we try to find techs that aren't as known in the
Gotcha.
industry to kind of get their name out there. But like I said,
I
this is
see.
a whole different flip from what we usually do.
Yeah.
So,
Gotcha. Well,
but we had to
I'm
get
fairly
this information
unknown.
out there. Yeah, we
Yeah.
had to get your information out there. We couldn't just, we wanted to be the first to the punch because I have a feeling you're going to be on a lot of podcasts.
I appreciate it. Well, I'll tell you guys. So, Mike Toledo invited me on Monday to go on with Paul and Tim. I couldn't go on it, but at the same time, I was like, okay, so I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know what podcast etiquette is, but these guys already invited me. The Ginger Bros already invited me to their show. I'm not going to jump into another. No, but
get on as many as possible because we all got different kind of we all got different viewers. Like we got a lot of the same viewers, but we got different ones too. So get on as many as possible and spread the word as much as possible. Like there's not much etiquette to that.
It's one thing if like normally we're pulling a tech on and just getting to know them.
Mm-hmm.
You hopping on every podcast, everybody hears the same story like that. Even though they're going to hear pretty much the same story, it's a multitude of people watching these different podcasts, and you actually provide a service, and that's what you're actually doing. So I jump on there on every one that you can get
Absolutely.
on.
For sure.
We need to touch on too, like you said something a minute ago we didn't even bring up. Like, so when you get your estimate translated through Noah, you actually get your letterhead at the top of the estimate. So it's coming legit from your company, which I think is huge too.
Yeah. Yeah, totally white labeled. We do not care that anything really looks like DentOps from your company. Like that, we don't care about that. All we care about is providing good estimates and getting you guys good results.
Right.
So and that's literally, we have a whole part of we have very strict internal processes. And the very last one is a quality assurance process. And it's to make sure that we provide, consistent results across the board. And that that's how you kind of build any business. That's how you build a PDR business, is by providing those results that people can come to expect. And so it's no different for us.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
there
his
it is.
estimate.
Eagle Dent Repair. Yeah.
Randy Hobson said, just joining in, I'll have to rewatch from start. This should be one of the most important shows ever. I hope everyone is listening carefully. I fully agree, Randy.
Appreciate it, Randy. I liked you being on the show last week. That was a cool episode.
I think Randy's one of the guys that actually, we were talking before our show last week. I think he's actually getting into some CCC and trying to, learn how to write and stuff too. So, with you having this company and saying we still need CCC, that means it's pretty dang important.
It's big. It's big. And like, I don't feel the need to be the only person doing it by any means, or I don't feel the need for everybody to be sending it to us by any means. So
right.
Yeah.
Rodney's asking, do you adhere to DRP guidelines?
That is a very, very good question. And the answer is right now we are not set up for it because DRPs are different for different insurance companies. Now I will say from one perspective is whatever dent counts and sizes that you guys give us, whatever matrix you write those on, if you are a DRP for any insurance companies, write those, you use the insurance company's matrix. Don't send it to us. We've actually had a problem where we were in a shop that we were not writing it on their matrix, and it ended up being an issue. That wasn't DentOps, wasn't a DentOps problem.
Yeah.
That was just a different in the past. But yeah, so we're not currently set up for DRPs just because they are so different. Right now, we're focusing specifically on kind of the mass market problem, which is literally just translating MTRX estimates into CCC1. Now, I will say that we follow, like the CCC has their motor guide to estimating, and there are different guides. We follow all of those, and we also have some internal like standard operating procedures to make sure that we're not doing anything that's ridiculous. That we're not just making stuff up. I don't believe in that. I do not advocate for that. Don't write ghost dents and stuff. However, we will add markups when we see that like a panel is aluminum or high strength steel because it's aluminum or high strength steel.
Yeah,
exactly, and stuff like that. Like 100% justified. Definitely do that. But strictly adhering to DRP, not necessarily, not right now. So I would probably avoid sending those to us at the moment. But whenever we do pursue that more heavily, because I would love to. We'll make that very public.
Yeah. And that'll help kind of lead us a little segue into what's the future plans of Denops and what do you guys got in the pipeline for how much ever you want to tell us, obviously.
Yeah, sure. So it's really funny because with this CCC and estimating, this is the kind of the more recent evolution of, what I thought DentOps might be. What I was originally doing was developing management and admin systems, which I mentioned very briefly. So Paul and Tim are co-owners in a shop out in in Rapid City called DentShop Rapid City. Mm-hmm. And I helped them to develop their management systems out there. And it's pretty cool. It's a very effective workflow management system. It helps to just see everything that's in process for high volume operations, especially. And we have a lot of really cool automations in place, like, customer notifications and stuff like that. And you have some other really, really cool ideas on how to improve on all of that too. So that was my original plan, was to create those for the Pdr industry, for Pdr shops, because it's just every single place that I ever went to. It's first thing, like, people get overwhelmed. Front gets overwhelmed, and it just bottlenecks the whole operation. So how do you alleviate that? So we have some really, really good solutions to it. The quick estimates was actually one small part of all of that I just took out and was like, this is a very valuable thing that I think people could use now and use very quickly. But we have there's at least a half dozen really amazing solutions like that we came up with that were just kind of waiting for the right opportunity. Now, here's the problem. It's really hard to approach PDR shops and tell PDR shops, hey, you need this, without there being a real tangible benefit to it, aside from it being in a super high volume situation. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of cars coming in. We have this problem. So I was like, okay, this is going to be really difficult. As soon as the CCC stuff came up, I was like, okay, this is a very tangible problem that we can solve and show very clear results that this is a really good thing. So the goal right now is to kind of try to get into as many shops as possible, be helping as many shops as possible. And then kind of phase 2 stuff that we're looking at is going back to those management systems and helping PDR operations to really effectively manage their workflow. And when we do that, having, even if it's just a simple place for you to be able to manage your files out of, which we have kind of a beta location going right now using one of our systems, a hail repair operation. At that point, we're probably going to be able to offer claims management too, which will be, I think, massive. Because now you've got everything living all in the same place. You've got, your estimates and all the information you have for your customer. And we've also, DentOps has been able to do your translation. And you can imagine we can put it directly back into your portal. And then, you can click a button and be like, yeah, we want you to manage this claim. And now our, staff is able to follow up with the insurance company until that thing gets approved. If insurance doesn't approve it for, a certain amount close enough to where you want it to be at, we can just keep on hammering insurance company for that. Meanwhile, I don't know what percentage, I was talking to Paul about this last week too, what percentage of PDR shops in the US do you think are technician owned? I think it's a massive, massive percentage of them.
Oh, it's a high percentage. Yeah,
huge.
Sure.
Yeah. So what do you guys want to be doing? You want to be on the phone with insurance all day long, or do you want to be pushing dents?
Yes.
Exactly. So, but at that point, I'm like, okay, so if we can manage their claims, we can, just make the best estimates possible, get this to the insurance company, manage the claim until this thing is approved, and basically send a notification to the owner, to the shop or the technician, hey, this claim is approved for this much money. And you're like, okay, cool, I'll pull it in, start working on it. That's kind of the goal that we're trying to get to.
That'd be huge.
We're trying to,
man, if I'd have had that last year during the hailstorm, good grief.
Now we get Randy's question. Randy, we didn't ask this. What should we expect for turnaround time? Sorry, I'm advanced. I don't know what I'm advanced means, Randy.
That's okay.
But yeah, we got you.
Yeah. So our turnaround time is on weekdays. We estimate on weekdays, it's within 24 hours. The exception to that is when you have more than 2 off matrix or conventional panels. Just because, if you can imagine, it's a bigger estimate. It's more difficult. You start replacing stuff. You got to add all the things that go along with those replacements. You got to blend panels, everything like that. So we say those ones could take up to 48 hours. But on weekdays, within 24 hours is our turnaround time. And we've been trying to scale our capacity at the same time as our demand's coming in to maintain that. So, yeah.
And I can say firsthand, I think I gave you my estimate 7 o'clock on one night, and then the next day by 11 o'clock I had it. So,
yeah, I was the same. It was probably 5:30, 5:45, and the next day right after lunch. But all the stuff that you had to find on mine. Dude, I'm I was very happy.
Yeah,
because I mean, this one, this customer's initial body shop estimate was for 26 something, and y'all came in at 59.77 96.
Wow.
It doesn't mean that,
It don't mean it's approved.
It doesn't mean that
Doesn't
that's
mean it's
approved.
approved.
And,
Yeah.
But if I got, anywhere close to this, or if I got, $4,000 out of the thing, to me, it's worth it on this job.
Over your estimate, yeah.
You've got this big bargaining chip now in their language, and that's what's great.
And we need to tell people the best part: you get 2 free translations when you sign up.
Yep.
I mean,
for signing up.
Yeah.
Get those,
you get to try it.
Those. Yeah.
Yeah. We try to get you guys results first, so that it's like, okay, we've already gotten the results. These things basically pay for themselves. Well, they definitely pay for themselves. So we try to make it a no-brainer.
And you can use you can use an old one, like, because I noticed that on there. You can use an old Hale one that you've done to really see what else you could have gotten out of that. As one of your free
you'll
ones.
make yourself sick.
Well, I mean, to see what the difference is, but yeah.
And full transparency, please, if you guys do go sign up, use this link, because me and Brandon get free translation. I mean, I'll be transparent as I can, but if you're going to sign up anyway, why not hook some brothers up? We'll take it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
We're obviously going to keep using this service, so I mean, whether I got to pay or not, I'm fine with it. I'm good with your service, and I'm happy to use it. So
yeah, I appreciate it.
Well, I mean, even just a regular job, I mean, $139. Come on. I mean, you're gonna pull, even if you just pull double that, it's worth it. That's $139 you didn't have, even though you just spent that. That's fine. You just gained that. Use it.
Well, and in most cases, you're going to have your adjusters are going to more than likely approve it quicker if they know what the hell they're doing, unlike our adjusters right now. But so, I mean, it's kind of like, that's just saving you time overall. This seems like a hot topic. Didn't get to watch the first half, so I'll definitely have to watch the beginning of the episode once this is up. Yeah, definitely, Alex, and especially you being a new tech, check this out. Check out DentOps podcast Monday night, because Paul and Tim were on there talking about. They dove in a lot more insurance stuff, but they talked about Denops as well. So check both of these out.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can tell I'm all fired up. My hands are moving 100 miles an hour. I'm in it, man. I'm loving this. Like, I was excited for this show. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm in a little bit better mood too right now. So.
You got the wind under your belt.
Yeah, one of them.
Todd Snodgrass. I don't know if you guys know him down in there in Florida, but he's one of our partners, and he was just telling me this past week. I'm sharing this because he said he'd write this up for me so we could share it. But he actually had a car that he called me and was telling me about, which is super cool. The insurance company, it was at a different shop. I don't know where it is. I'm sorry to that shop. But the insurance company pulled the car from that shop. We know they're not supposed to do that, but the insurance company pulled the car from that shop, brought it over to Todd's shop, and Todd had us translate the estimate for him. And the insurance company actually ended up approving it for $2,000 more than what they pulled it from the other shop for.
Wow.
So literally $2,000 more than the reason that they pulled it from the other shop. I can't remember what the numbers were at, but it's the results have been crazy. And actually I have some stats so far just on real files that we've been working on. Yeah. So for our average increases for 100% PDR cars right now, it changes as we do more files, but for 100% PDR cars, we've been increasing them by over $1,100 on average. For cars that are PDR with conventional, we've been increasing them by just over $7,600, the estimates. And between everything all together, on average, our increases are over $6,500. Now, there is some fine print in there. Is once people start using DentOps, start using our translation services, and there's all those things that they can leave off of estimates that they don't have to add because they know we're going to add onto it. It just kind of makes those numbers look a little bit better. But on average, since we've started doing this, we've seen at least $900 per car that we've been able to add to the estimates. And the kind of the way I've described it to some of our partners is like, listen, like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Right. It's $900 that if you don't ask for, they're not going to give it to you. Except for, I guess, in Mike's case, where they added $200 to his estimate, to our estimate. So who knows what happened with that? But that's kind of cool. But it's really cool.
Well, I noticed Don Cavanaugh asked on Mike's podcast. I don't think it got answered, but I know you're strictly on website now. It goes through the website. Do you ever plan on maybe having an app or anything to?
Yeah, we'll definitely have an app at some point. What the reason it's not as big of a focus right now, because the number one thing where I was like, okay, what is going to be kind of the lowest barrier to entry for using DentOps? And that to me is being able to request directly from Mobile Tech RX. So that's kind of an important thing to know. When you sign up for DentOps, you can submit your requests directly from Mobile Tech RX. It's not like an integration or something. It's an email. You send it to an email address that's specifically for this, and it automatically pulls a lot of information off of that and sends you a confirmation and everything. But to me, it was like, okay, the easiest way for people to use our service is to not have to use another service. Just keep using Mobile Tech RX like you always have been. Do the same thing you've always been doing, which is emailing your estimates to somebody. Just email it to this email address, and that's kind of it. Then it kicks off everything. We can handle it from there. But as we start to expand into some of these other things, we'll definitely be doing an app. We've already, I don't know if you guys have been on the web. I think, Andy, at least you have been on the web portal.
Yeah.
You can see all your request history and stuff, and any files that we have in process, you can see exactly where those files are in the process, which is pretty cool, I think. And we're going to continue to add really handy tools like that. We'll probably add the quick estimate, link there, so you don't have to fill out your company info every time. And we'll keep adding tools. And as we do that, it's going to make more and more sense for us to develop an app that's just super easy, handy for you to use. Pull it up on your phone or your iPad or something. So yeah, definitely the plan.
Now, when sorry, go ahead.
I gotta apologize to Joe. I keep saying Mike show. It's Mike and Joe. I'm sorry, Joe. You're a big part of that too. It's just Mike. You just think Mike.
So when, say, if you're submitting multiple ones, doesn't have to be the same day, but just say every other day or whatever. Now, are you billing for each one, or are you like billing at the end of the week, end of the month, or how are y'all doing that? Or as soon as it goes through, y'all charge it then?
Yeah.
Trying to let
so our process, when we were building this, I was like, okay, do we want to mess with invoicing or not? And the answer was no, we don't want to mess with invoicing. So that's why when you sign up, we collect your card information. You get 2 free translations, so you don't have to pay for the first 2, but we have it so that it's a seamless process for when you pretty much inevitably request more after those first 2. And so what we do is you submit your requests after those first 2 free translations. We go through the process, and we do our complete translation. And when we're delivering, we hit a button, and that button first tries to charge your card. And when it successfully charges your card, it delivers that estimate to you. And in that, it's the same delivery email. You can access it from your web portal too. But the same delivery email has the download for the actual PDF, the estimate, and the link to the receipt. And that receipt is it's all through Stripe. It says very specifically that it's that car. So from a file keeping perspective, we were like, we want this to be as clear as possible for accounting and everything. That this receipt goes to this car. It needs to be put together for however you keep track of all your stuff. Just make it really easy. So
I love it. Yep. I will say too, I know Paul, he's got a something he has his customer sign before all this to say like we choose the preferred method or whatnot. I can't remember exactly. Maybe
an authorization to repair.
Yeah, that's it.
Authorization to repair and a direction to pay form, because that's probably pretty important to note. There are 2 stages of the insurance process, is the kind of the way that I describe this to people. The first stage of the insurance negotiation process is negotiating with the insurance company to come up with what is the proper repair cost for this vehicle. And that's kind of all the insurance company cares about at that stage. Because the way you can think about it is the customer is 100% allowed to take that check and never get their car fixed. They can walk away and do whatever they want with it. They're just, if they try to get it fixed later on or file another claim later on, there's some problems. But the insurance company is in the liability game, right? So when we write an estimate, if it goes off matrix or we say this needs to be fixed conventionally, you guys can say, no, we can fix this thing 100% PDR. But as far as we were talking about this before the show, it's about the estimating method. If something goes off matrix, the argument is we don't have any good way to actually estimate this using our traditional dent repair estimating techniques. We need a different way to estimate this vehicle. That's either a conventional estimate or like a replacement cost. That's how you're able to gauge the actual repair. So when things are just crazy damage, we know some guys can fix some beat stuff out there, just like insane stuff. That's like, how do you estimate that? Well, you estimate it like a conventional body shop would estimate it. And so when we get those numbers on there, that's when we finish that first process with the insurance company, that first stage of the process with the insurance company to say, this is how much the proper repair cost is. And then after that, it's up to you and your customer to determine how the vehicle should actually be repaired. And you can't say we're going to replace this hood, never tell anybody, not even the customer, and just fix it via PDR. Like, that's going to come back to bite you. But if the customer is on board and you have all of your documentation and, they've signed the direction to pay and the authorization to repair forms and everything, and you've made it very clear, hey, we want to help you to repair this the best way possible. As we all know, PDR is like usually the best way to fix this, restore it back to the original condition. Customers on board, you got your documentation and everything. And what I always recommend is creating some sort of documentation for the insurance company as well. So if that means at the end of that, writing just a very quick Mobile Tech RX estimate that matches the insurance company's dollar figure and just using that as proof that we did in fact fix this as paintless dent repair, not as replacement. Just keep your ducks in a row. Like documentation is everything. I think what Paul says is like documentation is justification is salvation, I think is this little one of his little mottos there. So it's super important, but that's kind of the process in a nutshell. Happy to chat with anybody more about it too.
Well, that's how I explain it to all my customers, especially on big damage when I'm doing that. Is I won't even measure it out, just like that truck I sent you. I mean, there's no point because I know that I know it's going to be a high number. I know I'm going to be close to just at least cost of replacement. So there's no sense in me measuring it out and trying to do an estimate through Mobile Tech. I told the lady, I'm like, look, this needs to be an insurance job. I said, I'm going to be probably the same cost as what a body shop's going to be, but I can get this out, I guarantee, I'm not.
We can get this thing out, and we'll preserve the cost.
Exactly. I never tell anybody I'm going to get it out 100%. I never do. I can reshape everything back to factory just like it was before, and a lot faster. But it's going to cost pretty much the same thing as it is going through a body shop and replacement and everything else. So, they're 100% for it. And of course, like your estimate, I got it. I do the same thing. I go on Mobile Tech RX and I put that total. So it's all paintless. All the panels that I work on, it's that total number instead of like a hell one where it's all broken out. But
and when we were talking before the show, Noah even said that if you're doing an estimate on Mobile Tech RX and it's going to be conventional price or whatever, just hold the panel down to conventional. And they'll be able to go back in and find what you need for it. So that'll save you time in itself.
Yeah, that's our process. So the way, because I think this is valuable because this shows insight into the insurance company's thought process as well. So when we see an estimate, we get an estimate that comes in from one of our partners. Say, take a door, for example, and that door says has PDR on it for like $2,000. And we start to translate that estimate, and we see in CCC1 that between the part cost for an OEM part and the labor cost, body labor and paint labor, it's going to cost. It only costs like, I don't know what the number I said, like $1,500 for the door repair. It might only cost $1,000 for that door repair, just as an example. We are going to write that door for replacement because that's what the insurance companies, that's how they think about it. But at the end of the day, what happens is we write that for replacement. But we've got all of these other operations that go along with it. We got to blend, the front door. We got to blend the quarter panel. We got everything else that's going to make that estimate probably end up being a good bit more than $1,500. But that's where the insurance company looks at it. So for everybody else's perspective, like that's just an important thing to know for the insurance company. It's like if I write this thing for $2,000, the insurance company's probably going to balk at you. That's just the way that it goes. And they're going to write it for replacement. They're going to leave a bunch of stuff off of it. But yeah, it's just, I think, very important. That's our process internally. We try to think like the insurance companies do, except better.
A lot better.
Well, just like we were talking earlier, we write it up as that. They write it up as replacement. They're leaving off a ton of stuff, and they're not going to say, "Oh, well, you left this off."
Mm-hmm.
No,
You
you ain't getting that.
It's got to be replaced and painted, but we may give you blend, but we're going to leave all this off. They're not going to give you money, so that's where y'all step in. You find all this amazing stuff to get the price up where we can negotiate with them. And go from there. But
and
and
they
everybody
see the same stuff we see.
Like Paul said, like we're not making money off you or whatnot. We want the industry to know this as a whole. Like this is a huge tool for the industry that's going to be. It's going to be wonderful. Like I'm firmly a believer in it so far.
Yeah, I hope so. We only work with PDR shops and PDR operations. So I'll like put that out there. We only want to work with PDR shops and PDR operations. This isn't a body shop thing. This is like this is the industry that I grew up in. This industry has given me a lot. You could say that it's kind of given me everything because literally my entire life, my dad has been a technician. So it's definitely something that I'm super excited to give back. I think it's a really cool solution. I like working on cool problems. It's part of the reason that I've loved doing this and, everything else that we'll end up doing with DentOps. I think it's to me, it's really amazing to be able to give this ability to PDR shops. That's kind of previously been reserved more for bigger, high production type body shops. So
Mark Gary said, I'm not a PDR guy and I want to buy this.
Yeah, that's right.
So you saying it's strictly for PDR, but I think there's body shops that could actually use it that have estimators that don't write that great and stuff. If they had a tool like that, it'd be huge.
They definitely could. They definitely.
Oh
could.
Yeah. So what else was that?
Well, like if you decide to do the training courses and all that, body shops should jump straight on that crap.
They should
send their estimators to you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hail PDR. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it would be big.
I still don't understand why the insurance don't prefer us. Like we're saving, like of all things, we're saving the money on car rentals and stuff like that. We don't even have to throw that should be in the estimates. Like we just saved you this much money because your car wasn't in the shop for 2 weeks.
Honestly, it's weird, but honestly, I believe that it's the work that's involved with it. Like it's like I was describing before when you got an insurance adjuster who's got a CCC estimate versus a Mobile Tech RX estimate, or if they write a Mitchell estimate versus a Mobile Tech RX estimate or Audit, the same argument. It's the amount of work that they have to do. It's like if you got to do more work for the same results as an insurance adjuster, you don't want to do that. You just don't want to do that. So that's why we've seen a lot, I think, that our estimates are they're being accepted for much higher amounts or just literally dollar for dollar, or like in Mike's case for more money. But
only Mike.
Yes, Rodney. He does have body shop experience. You did miss that. Go back to the beginning and listen, buddy. I'm not going to give it away. You got to go all the way back to the beginning.
Rodney's a hell chaser. Like Rodney, you definitely need to check out these services, especially if you get on a storm or something. Like I said, you get 2 free translations. So go ahead and it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I'll say my experience is PDR in body shops and hail repair in body shops. So I've got what's cool is the kind of the marriage of the two of them together. I've seen how it can work together, and that's kind of how I developed all this stuff. Is in a way that just combines the best of both worlds. I
love it.
Mm-hmm.
What's he say? He said he uses
USA.
USA.
he uses CCC one.
So Rodney, I don't know if you missed it, but he's recommending we all use CCC. But like I said, I'm waiting till start getting more insurance claims. Notice a need for it, and you got some training out. I ain't doing it for you.
Yeah. There you go.
So everybody, if you want to sign up, that link that we provided in comments has been scrolling across the bottom. Hit it. Denops.com gingerbros or /gingerbros. Click on that, sign up for it. 2 free translations, scrubs, whatever you want to call it, and see what Noah and his crew can do for you. Because I promise you, it's going to be worth it.
Oh
yeah, totally. Yeah, and speaking of my crew, like huge shout out to them because like we wouldn't be able to do this without them. Like I said, we have now 5 estimators, almost 6, and we're continuing to grow. But they're just rock stars. They're really killing it.
And just to
That's
let
awesome.
everybody know, these aren't just like a PDR tech he pulled off the street. These are, you hire people who, you kind of do a background on them, right? As far as their knowledge and all that, as far as estimating and stuff like that. So any of them come straight from a body shop or
no, not you. Well, some of them might have worked in body shops, but most of them have done stuff with cars, whether that be like maintenance type things or with just working with cars in general. So some body shop background. But what we've tried to do is the most important thing, one of the things I thought about early on is, if this were to take off, how are we supposed to scale with it? Like, how are we supposed to scale with it? Have estimators who are going to provide consistent results for DentOps that everybody can experience, that we have enough estimators at the same time. And so the most important thing for us has been developing a training program that is specifically geared towards our industry, to the PDR industry, for price dents, paintless dent repair, for hail repair. And like I said, that marries the best of both worlds between cosmetic conventional and paintless dent repair. And so that training program, generally speaking, like we were talking a little bit before we hopped on here, we budget for about roughly 2 months it takes to fully train somebody in estimating properly. We can sometimes get them through faster. Like the last couple of guys we got them through in like 5 weeks, which is awesome. But it's very, very comprehensive. It's a combination between, videos and like showing more hands-on type stuff, and a ton of practice files for all different types of situations. I mean, like a lot. And they like banging their heads into the wall.
That's cool. You're making it detailed enough to, try to battle these problems before they happen. You already got it kind of lined out for them. So that's smart.
Yeah. I tell them, we want to make we want to make the practice more difficult than the actual game. So
I agree with your grandma.
Perfect.
I agree with you, Grandma. You are a genius.
Well, I don't know about that.
Grandma's boy. Oh, we got Grandma's boy right here.
Yeah.
No, I love that. That's awesome. It's great. But yeah, so like I told everybody, or like I said, if Paul Corden's supporting this, there's a reason for it. Like, I mean, that's just saying enough in its own that this is going to be huge. Like I said, everybody keep a lookout.
Because I mean, we wouldn't have heard about it if Paul wasn't, really driving it home to people, and he was pushing it hard at MTE. Andy came and got me. I'm like, what? And I can't, just,
dude, I was like a little kid. I was like, come here, let's go.
Come here.
we gotta talk to Paul real quick. You gotta listen about this shit. But yeah, he was, when we had our 20 group meet up, he was one of our speakers and started talking about it. My ears perked. I'm like, wait a minute, what are we talking about here? So yeah, it definitely piqued my interest, and I'm glad I heard about it. So
I'm glad too. I'm glad to be here.
Taken 3 or 4 months to use it, but like I said, I don't get many insurance claims yet.
Yeah,
I'm gonna work on that.
Well, now is about prime time, anyways. We're hitting that good stride growth wise, where we've got our processes pretty well worked out, and it's just kind of growing from here. So, get another win?
No, he just got him out at home for the third out.
Hey,
they threw it. They hit it in the outfield. They threw it in, got him at home. Anyway,
I'm still down here trying to manifest a hailstorm. I've been trying to manifest one all year. It ain't happened yet. So once I do, I know the first thing I'll be doing.
For sure.
Well, dude, I had 4 hail estimates 2 weeks ago. I've got one coming in the morning. That's maybe a cash job, but still, it's just they're showing up a little bit at a time. But we don't ever get hail. We were lucky last year to get that freak storm that hit the beach, but that was it.
It's been 2 years since we got one, so we're due.
Yeah.
But what I love it on is my big dent work that I always do. Now that I know I've got somebody covering my back here that's going to make me more money.
That's right.
And get me the money that I'm supposed to be making on these. So,
anyway. It's a 24-hour turnaround time. So, I mean, it's quick to get back. I don't see a negative. I haven't found one yet,
We try to make it that way. We try to keep it that way. We try to make it a no-brainer. So yeah.
I love it. It's been great. Like I said, I've been pumped for this show, and it was everything I expected. You're a natural, by the way. Like this is your first podcast. You can't tell you've crushed it. So I love it.
I appreciate it. Well, I like talking. It's something that I'm passionate about for sure. So that in the PDR industry. If I didn't know anything about the PDR industry, then I might be a little bit more I might be more nervous. But no, this has been a great time.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Brandon watching baseball.
I'm sorry. I've seen where they're at.
How rude.
Oh, rude. Anyway.
So,
all right. Well, I don't have anything else besides, like I said, everybody watching, and if you're listening or rewatching this, go to that link, denops.com/gingerbros. Sign up for this. It's a no-brainer. Like Andy has said 10,000 times on here, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
it
just makes too much sense. I don't know how else to explain
it. There is a guy I was working one time because I traveled into the hill, and we were working in Texas. And one of the things that the guy would always say we were working for is, "What are you, allergic to money?" That's what this is. If you don't right? Sign up, you're allergic to money. So you
like being poor, huh?
Yeah.
No bigs. I wasn't having a stroke. I'm watching.
Exactly. Yeah, for those /gingerbros for sure.
Yeah. For those who don't know, my son's high school baseball team is round 4 playoffs. If they win, they go to state next week. I can't be there. It's on TV. It's behind. It's in a bad location. It had all kinds of trouble, and anyway. So that's what I've got it on TV, and I've got this.
Yeah, and I was gonna say too, Noah's like an open book. Like me and him had a phone call after I turned mine in and stuff. We had a great chat and stuff. So if you got any questions, I mean, I'm sure you feel free to hit you up and ask the question on Facebook or something like that, and you make sure to make it happen.
Definitely. Facebook's probably the best place for you to reach out to me at. Also, probably I'm not just going to hand out my cell phone number. But if you sign up for DentOps, then you do get my cell phone number.
Oh yeah.
So, but you can also
it's a no-brainer.
You can also email me at noah@dentops.com. But yeah, Facebook, hit me up on Facebook, friend me, shoot me a DM. Happy to answer any questions. I mean, I like talking about this stuff. So
me too.
Well, hey, before we go, we are going to do just real quick. What do you like to do real quick outside of the PDR world?
Outside of the PDR world, I like to hang out with my fiance. We're getting married in September. Woo-hoo! So that's super exciting. Yeah, it's a big year in general. So gotta say I like to hang out with her, and I like to play disc golf, hang out with my buddies. So there's actually I'll give a shout out for any other guys who like playing disc golf or who travel around the country. There's a PDR disc golf Facebook page.
Oh, nice. I've not tried disc golf. I played regular golf. And
do you play in tournaments and stuff?
No, I just play for fun.
I'm not that good. Have you ever heard of Cameron Coldglazer?
That sounds familiar.
Well, he's got a whole signature line out. He's one of my detail shops.
Oh, wow.
He actually graduated from my kid's school too. But he's probably late 20s. Now he may be around 30 now.
Brag much.
Gotcha.
Oh, he wins a lot. He's
that's
pretty
awesome.
good. Yeah.
I'd like to try it out. Like I said, I've never tried it.
It's fun. Super low barrier to entry. I mean, you buy a disc. It's like the cheapest discs you can get for I think $8 or $9. But nice discs you get for $20. It's not even that expensive. And then almost all the disc golf courses are free. So really good way to get out there and just kind of hang out, especially if you do any traveling. For anybody who does any traveling, there's cool disc golf courses all over the country. So hitting some of those cool courses is pretty nice, and just hanging out with the guys in general. Or gals. Sure. But yeah, there's a group, disc golf for PDR techs, that is it's pretty cool. So people just kind of chat a little bit. Not a very big group, very small, but
it'll grow.
Not my group. It'll grow. Yeah. Exactly. That's how this stuff goes.
A good disc, it was $20. I lose $20 worth of ball on the first, the front nine when I play.
Yeah, seriously.
At least these are a little bit bigger.
Find them a little bit easier.
I've seen some courses that are pretty gnarly. You know, pretty thick woods, and you know, baskets will be behind a tree, and they'll weave them in between. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
Yep. Well, hey,
yeah,
no,
thank you guys so much for having me on the show. I definitely
thank you for
appreciate
coming
it.
on.
And it's been a great time. I think what you guys have going on is super cool.
Thank you.
In general, kind of learning about everybody, all these other technicians. You don't hear a lot of the stories, but like I said earlier, it's such a heavily networked industry that it's so important. The relationships are so important. So it just definitely adds more of a dynamic.
That's my mom. Mom says she got some distance. She can find them about to try it on the trip. It's fun.
Nice. Another Jaeger.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's John's nephew. He's been doing some PDR. He's down in Arkansas on that hailstorm with them. So doing a little R9, doing some PDR when he can. So
gotcha. There you go.
He's learning.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we don't have a guest yet for next week. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We always do. Unless Brandon's got baseball games, we might say the hell with it, not come on.
well, no. I'll be back for if we win and we go to state next week. It's either Monday, Tuesday. I don't know because it could be Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't remember when it is. So you may be solo, or I may be on my phone next week.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But if they win state, I'm going because
I'll just bring Noah back. He can co-host with me. He's done such a
that's
good
what
job tonight.
Heck yeah, I would.
Right now.
We can definitely have a good guest host, but
I got some red in my beard, so that
there you go.
Kind of qualifies me, right?
Bro.
Yeah, we don't have it anywhere else, though.
Yeah, I ain't even taking my hat off. I ain't doing it. Well, thank everybody for commenting and tuning in and stuff. I hope everybody goes back and rewatch it. Like I said, I think this is a huge show for people that you need to check this one out. If you don't check out any other ARF shows, this is the one you need to check out. So it's been a great one for sure.
Yeah, and don't forget dentreaper.com. Y'all go get your purple, power glue and power glue. Your purple, I can't even say it because not perfection. Not purple.
Purple
perfection. Glue and your Reaper rods and all that too. Go there, check it out. All your swag. I've actually got some flags and hat and all that coming in that I got the other day. Because John complained because I have all my signs in the shop. I didn't have a Reaper one.
So nice.
I ordered 2 of them. I was like,
what are you doing without a Reaper?
Yeah, I noticed you ain't got a Reaper flag in the back there.
I'm getting the coffee mug from me.
All right, guys. Well, again, thanks Noah for coming on.
Yeah.
Denops.com/Ginger Bros. Y'all go to it, sign up for it. And appreciate y'all watching and commenting. We are going to get out of here right now. So
bye, everybody.
Peace. Yep. See it.
Thanks for joining us this week on another episode of Ginger Bros. Don't forget to catch all past episodes on Apple Podcast, YouTube, or Facebook. You can follow us on all social media to get updates for each show and anything else we have going on. Please leave us a review on Apple Podcast to help this show grow. See you next week.